Peppa Pig is hiding way more than you think. From floods that wipe out humans, to pirate grandpas, to stolen museum paintings, the show is packed with hidden details nobody notices on the first watch. Today, we're breaking down the wildest clues hiding in the background of Peppa Pig, the ones that change everything you thought you knew. What if Peppa Pig's world wasn't always an animal kingdom, but a place that used to belong to humans, until a massive flood wiped almost everything out? It sounds dramatic, but the clues are hiding in plain sight. Right from the start, you notice something strange. Every single house in Peppa Pig sits on top of a hill. Not some of them, not most of them, literally all of them. It's as if the entire town decided that flatland is dangerous, and nobody should ever live there again. And the episode, The Biggest Muddy Puddle in the World, shows exactly why. It rains for just a few seconds, and Peppa's house suddenly becomes an island. The garden disappears, the road disappears, everything below the hill just vanishes underwater. But the Pig family doesn't panic at all. They just stand by the window, completely calm. Then Grandpa Pig casually sails over in a boat. Suzy Sheep's family wave from the top of another hill like they've seen this 100 times. And Grampy Rabbit arrives in a submarine, because apparently flooding is so normal in their world that owning your own submarine is just practical. Nobody screams, nobody worries, nobody calls anyone for help. The whole town acts like massive flooding is simply Tuesday. And here's where it gets interesting. The only characters who aren't animals, the Queen, Santa, and the pirate, all live far away from Peppa's town in places that would have been safe during a global flood. The Queen lives in a palace up high, Santa lives in the frozen North Pole, and the pirate lives out at sea. If humans once ruled this world, these are exactly the kinds of places the last survivors would still be found. So maybe that's why the animals have taken over from the humans that almost went extinct, dressing like humans, working human jobs, going to human schools, and building human houses on top of hills. Here's a hidden detail that Peppa Pig fans never agree on. Does Mummy Pig have a secret real name? Well, the show sneakily hints that she does, and the clue is hiding in the episode Time Capsule. When the grown-ups dig up their old capsule, we see a video of Mummy Pig as a kid, and the moment she appears, her dress is covered in flowers, like she rolled through a garden on the way to school. Why does this matter? Just look at Mummy Pig's sister, Auntie Dottie. She literally wears a polka dot dress. Dot dress. Dottie. You see the pattern. So if Dottie gets dots, then little Mummy Pig's flower dress might be the show quietly saying, hey, her name might be Rose, Lily, Poppy, Daisy, or some other flower name. Which one sounds most like her? Comment below with your pick and add a hashtag. Grandpa Pig always tells the children he was just a sailor. But the hidden details in Peppa Pig paint a completely different picture. Literally. Because in the Science Museum episode, there's a very fancy pirate ship painting hanging proudly on the wall. It looks priceless, the kind of artwork that belongs behind glass next to a do not touch sign. But here's where things get suspicious. In the episode Granny and Grandpa's Attic, the exact same painting appears again. Same colors, same angle of the ship, same style. But now it's hanging on Grandpa Pig's staircase. And just to make it even stranger, it's been flipped to face the opposite direction. Almost like someone grabbed it in a hurry and hung it up without wanting anyone to notice where it came from. You think that's bad? It gets worse. In another episode, The Museum, you can spot a second painting, this one inside the museum's food court area. And guess what? That painting also appears in Granny and Grandpa's Attic episode, this time actually hidden away in the attic, like another souvenir Grandpa Pig absolutely should not have. Two museum paintings from two different museums, both showing up inside Grandpa Pig's house. At this point, it doesn't look like an accident. It looks like a pattern, and it's the kind of pattern you'd expect from someone who might, I don't know, sail around stealing treasure? Which brings us perfectly to hidden detail number 4, because once you start spotting Grandpa Pig's pirate clues, it gets very hard to believe he was ever a normal sailor at all. In the episode Pirate Island, Grandpa Pig doesn't just take the kids on a boat trip, he takes them to an actual pirate island. Right from the start, Grandpa Pig gives himself away because his boat doesn't have a normal sailor flag with an anchor on it. Nope. He proudly sails around with a skull and crossbones pirate flag waving on top like it's totally normal. And before they've even left the dock, Grandpa Pig hands George his pirate hat, not a sailor's cap, almost like he's setting the theme for the day.
George, you could wear my pirate hat.
Then, when they finally reach Pirate Island, he whips out a metal detector and cheerfully announces they're looking for buried treasure. Most sailors look for fish. Grandpa Pig looks for coins. And here's the funny part, he's really good at it. He finds a little coin almost instantly, celebrates like a pirate who's just struck gold. and then confidently digs up something big, only to discover a rusty shopping trolley. But the fact that he honestly expected treasure? Very suspicious. Then comes the most pirate moment of all. Grandpa Pig falls asleep, the boat floats away, and he leaves everyone stranded on Pirate Island like a bunch of castaways. Totally something a forgetful pirate captain would do. And once you add that to everything else we've spotted, Grandpa Pig doesn't look like a calm little sailor anymore. He looks like a pirate who retired early and hoped nobody would notice. Now that we know Grandpa Pig is basically a retired pirate, Polly Parrot suddenly makes perfect sense, because she doesn't act like a normal family pet. She acts like someone who spent years sitting on pirate shoulders long before Grandpa Pig ever brought her home. In the episode The Children's Festival, there's a framed picture of Captain Redbeard sailing his ship, and right there on his shoulder is a parrot that looks exactly like Polly. So here's the hidden detail. Polly might not originally have been Grandpa Pig's parrot. She might have belonged to Captain Redbeard first. And then things get even fishier. If Grandpa Pig really did steal a museum painting, and if he really owns a pirate hat, a skull flag, and knows way too much about treasure maps, then it's not hard to imagine him picking up a parrot from a pirate captain along the way. Maybe Captain Redbeard retired Polly, maybe Polly retired Redbeard, or maybe Grandpa Pig borrowed her the same way he borrowed that pirate ship painting. Whatever happened, Polly's behavior suddenly makes perfect sense. She isn't just a family pet, she's the last living crewmate from someone's pirate ship. And the next hidden detail proves she's even more important than that, because Polly might actually be famous. We all knew Polly Parrot was a bit extra, but this hidden detail shows she might be Peppa Town's first real celebrity. In the episode Mr. Fox's Shop, there's a box of bird food on the shelf, and the mascot on the front looks exactly like Polly. Same colors, same face. It's basically Polly doing a little modeling pose right on the packaging. And that leads to a pretty big hidden detail. If Polly's face is on a real bird food brand, then she isn't just any pet. She might be the official mascot for a bird food company. And here's the fun part, this might even explain how Granny and Grandpa Pig afford everything. The big house, the huge garden, the attic full of expensive random stuff. Because Grandpa Pig is great with farming and animals, it would make sense that the bird food company is actually theirs. Maybe Polly is the star of their brand, a little feathery celebrity helping the pig grandparents make a tidy profit. Here's a hidden detail most people never question, but once you notice it, it completely breaks your brain. Whenever Peppa or George feel unwell, they call Dr. Brown Bear, the friendly GP who turns up with a stethoscope and a very calm voice. But the moment Goldie the fish, Polly Parrot, or literally any pet sneezes, suddenly it's Dr. Hamster, the vet, racing in to save the day. And that's odd, because in Peppa Pig, everyone is an animal. So why do some animals get the human doctor treatment, while others go straight to the vet? Is Dr. Brown Bear only trained in standing upright and talking animals? Does Dr. Hamster only treat creatures who don't wear clothes? Is there a secret medical rulebook nobody is telling us about? In other words, people animals get the doctor, pet animals get the vet, which is a pretty weird rule for a world where everyone is an animal. Here's one of the strangest hidden details in all of Peppa Pig. Not every animal in Peppa's world acts like a person. Some talk, drive cars, and go to school. And others are just actual animals who roar, bite, or try to eat someone. And the show never explains why. Take Penny Polar Bear, who walks, talks, goes to playgroup, and wears cute dresses. Now compare her to the giant polar bear Danny Dog's dad sees on a frozen island. A full, wild, I will absolutely eat you polar bear. Same species. Two completely different lifestyles. And it's not just polar bears. Mrs. Crocodile works at the zoo like a normal adult. But other crocodiles snap at Grandpa Rabbit like they've spotted dinner. So what's going on? Some fans think these civilized animals evolved after humans disappeared, learning to talk, go to school, and stop eating each other, while the wild version stayed, well, wild. Madame Gazelle's vampire hints are famous at this point, but the biggest surprise is that her husband might actually share the same secret. The first clue comes from her home. She keeps an old black and white portrait of Mr. Gazelle dressed in a smart suit and top hat, looking very elegant and very old-fashioned. It already feels like a snapshot from a completely different era. But things get much stranger when we jump to the episode Science Museum. In the scene where Edmund Elephant is inside Grandpa Rabbit's rocket, a background painting flashes on screen for less than a second. If you pause at the right moment, you'll spot Mr. Gazelle again. Same mustache, same expression, same face. But this time he's wearing an ancient military uniform that looks like it belongs to a totally different century. Here's the strange part. Both images look historic, but the outfits come from completely different time periods. Yet Mr. Gazelle's face hasn't aged a single day between them. No wrinkles, no changes, no signs that time has passed at all. And if Madame Gazelle doesn't age, well, maybe her husband doesn't either. It seems like the whole Gazelle family might be a lot older and a lot spookier than anyone realized. And those were 9 hidden details that make Peppa Pig way stranger, funnier, and more mysterious than it looks. If you want even more crazy clues, secret characters, and wild Peppa theories, go watch our other videos. They're packed with stuff you definitely missed. Before you go, tell us in the comments, which hidden detail surprised you the most? And do you think the creators meant to hide all this, or were these happy accidents? Thank you for watching.